I'm Rebecca Turner, 34 years old, and what transpired at my younger sister's celebration continues to generate discussion in financial circles. Imagine this scene. 180 attendees in an elegant venue, my mother's palms striking my face with such intensity that my pearl earrings scattered across the polished floor. Why? I declined to surrender the deed to my $2.3 million luxury apartment during the reception toasts. The unexpected twist came when the CFO of a major banking institution arrived an hour afterward. My mother's outcry resonated throughout 3 levels. This executive wasn't just anyone. He controlled 35% of my father's enterprise and had witnessed everything via online broadcast. I arrived at the Harbor Plaza Hotel that morning at 7:30, 2.5 hours before the ceremony. The venue appeared magnificent. Cream orchids and silver details everywhere, precisely what Emma had envisioned since childhood. I'd quietly contributed $45,000 toward making her day flawless, though this contribution would never receive acknowledgement. "Rebecca at last," my mother remarked, scrutinizing my appearance. "That outfit. Couldn't you have selected something more traditionally feminine? You appear ready for a corporate presentation, not your sister's celebration." I adjusted my charcoal silk ensemble, elegant and appropriate, admittedly professional. "Pleasant morning to you as well, Mother. Emma appears absolutely stunning in her gown," she persisted, dismissing my greeting entirely. "A true bride radiates that special glow." The comparison felt familiar. Throughout 34 years, I'd been labeled too driven, too self-sufficient, too business-oriented in my preferences. Emma represented perfection. Gentle, conventional, everything our parents desired. "Rebecca, could you verify the seating plan?" Father requested. "However, refrain from reorganizing everything as you typically do." I remained silent. The arrangement was problematic. Former couples positioned together, professional competitors at identical tables. Mentioning this would brand me difficult again. They remained unaware that I wasn't merely some administrative employee at an ordinary firm. I served as Executive Director of International Development at Sterling Investments, managing our complete European operations. Within this family, such achievement somehow transformed into another shortcoming: excessively career-driven, excessively independent. "Naturally, Father," I responded evenly. "I'll ensure everything is flawless for Emma." "Family takes priority, Rebecca," Father stated, materializing beside me while I corrected a tilted floral arrangement. "You'll comprehend this when you establish your own household, assuming you eventually settle down." The criticism was understated yet transparent. At 34, my unmarried status apparently represented a more significant failure than any professional accomplishment could compensate for. "Thomas, allow her some peace," Aunt Margaret interjected, though her tone suggested entertainment rather than defense. "Not everyone can be as fortunate as Emma, discovering genuine love at such a young age." I concentrated on the flowers, permitting their commentary to wash past me. Around us, relatives whispered their evaluations. "Still unattached after all this time. All those years in the city, you'd assume she'd have encountered someone. At least she has Emma providing grandchildren soon." My cousin Nathan smirked from across the space. "Perhaps if you invested less time in conference rooms and more time in ordinary settings, you'd have someone accompanying you today." Laughter rippled through our relatives. I considered mentioning the 4 relationships I'd pursued this year with individuals who couldn't accept dating someone more accomplished. I wanted to explain that remaining single was intentional, not failure. But what purpose would it serve? "She's simply extremely selective," Mother clarified to anyone listening. "Always has been too particular for her benefit." I straightened another arrangement, my hands controlled despite the recognizable sting of their rejection. They possessed no understanding of my true identity, and perhaps that was preferable. "So, Rebecca," Aunt Helen chirped during pre-ceremony socializing. "How's that small apartment of yours downtown? Must be comfortable." "It's a luxury penthouse, actually," I corrected gently. The surrounding group erupted with laughter. Helen dabbed moisture from her eyes. "A penthouse. Oh, Rebecca, you and your ambitious dreams." "She enjoys exaggerating," Emma contributed, gliding over in her bridal gown. "Last year, she claimed she was purchasing a Mercedes. Can you imagine? I had purchased a Mercedes, it was parked outside, but I simply smiled. Rebecca's always been ambitious," Mother stated in that tone, rendering ambition sound like a character defect. "Overly ambitious, truthfully. There's nothing inappropriate about a modest apartment." "No disgrace in that, young lady," Uncle Frank added condescendingly. "Not everyone can manage luxury." My phone vibrated with a notification from my building's concierge regarding tomorrow's delivery to my 4,800 square foot penthouse on the 48th level, the one with panoramic windows overlooking the entire metropolitan area. The one I'd purchased outright after finalizing the Brussels contract. I could have displayed the photographs, could have accessed the virtual presentation I had preserved, could have mentioned the feature in Metropolitan Design last month. But what would that demonstrate? That I required their validation. "You're correct, Uncle Frank," I said instead. "There's no disgrace in living within one's capabilities." Emma laughed, that crystalline sound she'd perfected. "See, Rebecca's learning to be more practical." Finally, the irony was nearly poetic. Standing alone near the window, I observed the skyline where my penthouse towered above everything else. 12 years. That's how long it required to construct my career from junior analyst to executive director. 12 years of 70-hour weeks, overnight flights, and transactions that made headlines in Business International. That penthouse wasn't merely real estate. It represented validation. Validation that the daughter they dismissed had succeeded. Validation that I didn't require their approval, their finances, or their connections. Every square inch was purchased through my own accomplishments. If I surrendered it to Emma, simply transferred ownership like some party favor, what would that make me? The perpetual contingency plan, the family resource who existed solely to supplement their favored daughter's happiness. I contemplated the evenings I'd collapsed at my workstation developing proposals that would eventually generate millions for the organization. The advancements I'd earned while they orchestrated Emma's engagement celebrations. The respect I commanded in boardrooms across 4 continents. None of that mattered here. To them I was merely Rebecca. Too career-focused, too difficult, too masculine. My phone screen illuminated with a photograph from my executive assistant. The view from my penthouse this morning. Sunrise casting golden illumination through those massive windows. She'd included a caption. "Your refuge awaits your return." Refuge. That's precisely what it was. The singular place where I wasn't someone's disappointing daughter or eclipsed sister. Where I was simply Rebecca Turner. The woman who'd constructed something extraordinary entirely independently. I couldn't relinquish that. Not even for family peace. "Our Emma," I heard Mother telling a cluster of attendees, her voice carrying across the venue. "She's everything a mother could desire. So graceful, so compassionate. Did you know she volunteers at the community center? And now she'll be such a wonderful wife." The guests responded appropriately. Mother stood there beaming with pride, cataloging Emma's accomplishments. Her education degree, her perfect engagement, her charitable work. Not once did my name cross her lips. I'd transferred $45,000 to their account 3 months prior, when Father mentioned the celebration was becoming expensive. I'd utilized my connections to feature Emma's wedding in the metropolitan area's most prestigious bridal publication. I'd even arranged their honeymoon suite enhancement through my hotel rewards. Invisible. That's what I was. The family phantom who materialized only when they required something. Such a beautiful family, someone remarked. You must be so proud of your daughter. Oh, we are, father replied, his arm around mother. Emma's brought us such happiness. Daughter, singular. As if they possessed only one. I turned away, but then I heard it. Father's voice lowered, but insufficiently. After the toast, he whispered to mother, we'll make the announcement about the penthouse. You're certain Rebecca will agree? Mother whispered back. She won't have a choice. Not before everyone. She's too proud to create a scene at her sister's celebration. My blood chilled. They'd orchestrated this. It wasn't a spontaneous gesture of generosity. It was an ambush designed to corner me using social pressure and familial obligation. Besides, mother added, what does she need a penthouse for? It's not like she has a family to occupy it. The casual cruelty knocked the breath from my lungs, but it also crystallized something. I wasn't going to participate in their manipulation. The reception was progressing when father stood up, tapping a champagne flute with a spoon. The musicians stopped performing. 180 guests directed their attention toward him. Before we continue celebrating, he began, his voice booming through the microphone, Jennifer and I want to give Emma and Daniel something special. My stomach dropped. They were actually doing this. As you all know, family means everything to us, father continued, smiling at the crowd. And there's nothing we wouldn't do for our children's happiness. Children's, plural. But his eyes were fixed on Emma. That's why we're delighted to announce that Rebecca has graciously agreed to give Emma her downtown penthouse as a wedding gift. The venue erupted in applause. Emma pressed her hands to her chest in practiced surprise, though the slight smile playing at her lips revealed she'd known all along. Daniel wrapped his arm around her, grinning. Oh my goodness, Rebecca, Emma gushed into her own microphone. Are you serious? The penthouse. Every eye in the venue turned to me. I stood frozen, champagne flute in hand, my mind racing. They'd orchestrated this perfectly. The announcement, Emma's response, the public setting that made refusal seem monstrous. Rebecca, come up here, father called out, waving me forward. Let's have the whole family together for this special moment. The applause continued. People were smiling, nodding, some even dabbing their eyes at this beautiful gesture. I noticed my supervisor's spouse at table 14. 3 major clients at table 9. My entire professional network scattered throughout the venue. All watching, all expecting me to smile and play the generous sister. This wasn't just an ambush. It was a calculated assassination of my autonomy. I set down my champagne flute and stood slowly. The venue fell silent, waiting. I'm sorry, what? My voice carried clearly without amplification. Father's smile faltered slightly. Your penthouse, sweetheart. For Emma and Daniel. This wasn't discussed with me, I said, maintaining my tone level and professional. A ripple of whispers crossed the venue. Father's face reddened. Don't be selfish on your sister's day, he said, still holding the microphone, ensuring everyone heard his words. Father, this is inappropriate. We can discuss this privately. There's nothing to discuss. Mother grabbed the microphone from father. It's a wedding gift from the family. It's my property, I stated simply. And I haven't agreed to anything. The whispers grew louder. I heard fragments. How could she? On her sister's wedding day. So selfish. Emma's eyes welled with perfectly timed tears. Rebecca. I thought you'd want me to be happy. Your happiness doesn't require my home, Emma. It's just property, father boomed. You can acquire another one. Then you acquire her one, I replied. Gasps echoed through the venue. Someone at table 4 actually clutched their pearls. The wedding photographer kept shooting, his camera clicking rapidly. Rebecca, please, Daniel interjected, attempting to play peacemaker. We'd take excellent care of it. I'm certain you would, but the penthouse is not available. Mother's face had turned an alarming shade of crimson. Father looked like he might suffer cardiac arrest. And Emma's mask of sweetness was cracking, revealing something uglier underneath. Come on, Rebecca, Aunt Helen called out. It's family. You don't even have a family to occupy it, Uncle Frank added. Emma needs it more. She's getting married, beginning a life, someone else interjected. What do you need all that space for? The pressure mounted from every direction. Each comment another stone added to the wall they were building around me. Be reasonable, my cousin Nathan shouted. Stop being so difficult. It's not like you can't afford another place, Aunt Margaret added. With your important job. The sarcasm in her voice was unmistakable. They still didn't believe I was successful. Even now, they thought the penthouse was some kind of exaggeration. That's generous of you to assume, I said, my voice steady despite the hurricane inside me. But my financial situation isn't up for public discussion. Everything's about money with you, Mother spat into the microphone. Your sister's happiness should matter more than property. If Emma's happiness depends on taking what's mine, perhaps we should examine that. More gasp. Someone at the back actually booed. The photographer was still shooting, his flash creating a strobe effect across the scene. Through it all, I kept my hands steady at my sides. No trembling, no tears. I'd negotiated with executives who consumed junior staff for breakfast. I'd stood my ground in boardrooms where millions were at stake. I wasn't going to crumble now. The penthouse is not available, I repeated, each word clear and final. My phone vibrated insistently in my clutch. I pulled it out, needing a moment's distraction from the hostile stares. 3 missed calls from Lawrence and a text that made my pulse quicken. Saw the online broadcast. On standby. Online broadcast. I glanced around and spotted Daniel's younger brother. Phone propped up on table 7, streaming the entire reception to social media. The red live indicator blinked mockingly. Another text from Lawrence. Your call. Say the word. Lawrence Chen, my mentor, my superior, and coincidentally the person who owned 35% of my father's company. Though father had no idea his silent partner and his daughter's CEO were the same individual. Rebecca, put the phone away, Mother snapped. This is family time. Apparently it's also public entertainment, I said, nodding toward the live stream setup. Your son-in-law's family is broadcasting this to the internet. Daniel's brother quickly grabbed his phone, but the damage was done. Who knew how many people had already witnessed my parents trying to publicly coerce me into surrendering my home? Wait for my signal, I texted back to Lawrence, then slipped my phone back into my clutch. So dramatic, Emma sighed into the microphone, playing the victim perfectly. All this fuss over a piece of property. I thought my sister loved me enough to want to help start my marriage off right. The crowd accepted it completely. Poor Emma, rejected by her cold, selfish sister. But I noticed something. Father kept checking his phone too. His face growing paler with each glance. The live stream had consequences he hadn't anticipated. Your wedding is trending, by the way, I told Emma quietly. Congratulations. Standing there surrounded by judgment, a memory surfaced from 8 months ago. Lawrence had insisted on adding an unusual clause to my penthouse purchase agreement. Trust me, he'd said, reviewing the papers. You want protection against third-party interference, especially coercion from family members. I dismissed it then. My family was difficult, not dangerous. But Lawrence, who'd built an empire from nothing, knew better. If anyone tries to force you to transfer ownership under duress, he'd explained, this clause activates. The company retains right of first refusal and can intervene to protect the asset, and you. The penthouse had originally been corporate property transferred to me as part of my compensation package. The documentation was impeccable, the ownership legitimate, but that clause gave Sterling Investments legal standing to intervene if someone tried to force me to surrender it. "Rebecca's always been stubborn," Father was saying to the crowd, trying to salvage the situation. "But family comes first. She knows that. Family doesn't ambush each other," I said quietly. But my voice carried. The venue went silent again. Even the waitstaff had stopped moving, trays balanced in their hands, watching this disaster unfold. Mother descended from the head table like an avenging angel, her beaded gown catching the light as she stormed across the dance floor. She still clutched the microphone, her knuckles white around it. "Rebecca Turner," her voice boomed through the speakers. "You will not ruin this day. You will not embarrass this family. I'm not the one creating a scene, Mother. We raised you better than this." She was close now, close enough that I could see the vein throbbing in her temple. "We gave you everything. You gave Emma everything," I corrected. "I earned what I have." "You ungrateful," she caught herself, remembering the audience. Then, with forced sweetness that fooled no one, "Sweetheart, just give your sister the deed. It's such a small thing." "No." The word hung between us like a challenge. Mother's face cycled through emotions: disbelief, rage, humiliation. The entire venue held its breath. "You will do this," she hissed, momentarily lowering the microphone. "Or so help me." "Or what?" I asked, genuinely curious what threat she thought would work. She raised the microphone again. "Everyone, my daughter seems to have forgotten what family means. Perhaps you can help remind her." The crowd stirred uncomfortably. Some people called out support for Emma, but others had gone quiet, sensing this had crossed a line. "Give your sister the deed." Mother's voice had dropped to a dangerous whisper that the microphone still caught. "Now." "No. You selfish, ungrateful girl." The words exploded from her. "After everything we've done, everything we've sacrificed, you can't do this one thing. You're a disgrace to this family." She was close enough now that I could smell her perfume, the same suffocating floral scent from my childhood. Close enough to see years of resentment burning in her eyes. The slap came without warning. Mother's hand connected with my cheek with such force that my head snapped to the side. The crack echoed through the venue's acoustics, amplified by the microphone she still held. My pearl earring, a gift to myself after closing the Brussels contract, flew off, arcing through the air before hitting the marble floor with a delicate ping. 180 guests gasped in unison. Then silence. Complete, absolute silence. I stood perfectly still, my cheek burning, feeling the heat spread across my face. The photographer's camera had stopped clicking. The waitstaff stood frozen. Even the children at table 17 had gone quiet. Mother's hand remained suspended in the air, as if she couldn't quite believe what she'd done. The microphone in her other hand picked up her ragged breathing. I could see everything reflected in the mirrored walls: my reddening cheek, Mother's shocked face, Father half standing from his chair, Emma with her hands pressed to her mouth. Daniel's brother had his phone up again, capturing everything. The earring lay on the white marble, its pearl catching the chandelier light maybe 12 feet away. Such a small thing, but somehow it felt like the most important object in the venue. I didn't move, didn't speak, didn't even bring my hand to my burning cheek. I just stood there, letting the silence say everything that needed to be said. Slowly, deliberately, I walked to where my earring lay on the marble floor. My heels clicked in the silence, each step echoing through the venue. I bent down, picked up the earring, and carefully put it back on. The simple action took maybe 30 seconds. Felt like 30 years. I straightened, smoothed my dress, and looked directly at my mother. She'd lowered her hand but still gripped the microphone. Her face a mixture of defiance and dawning horror. "Excuse me," I said, my voice perfectly steady. Then I turned to the head table. "Congratulations, Emma. I hope your marriage brings you joy. I picked up my clutch from my table and walked toward the exit. Not rushing, not running, just walking with the same measured pace I used when leaving board meetings. Rebecca, Father called out. Rebecca, wait. I didn't stop, didn't turn around. Behind me, the venue erupted in chaos. Voices rising, chairs scraping, someone crying. But I kept walking. The moment I cleared the venue doors, I pulled out my phone and hit Lawrence's number. He answered on the first ring. Rebecca. Green light, I said simply. Understood. How long do I have? Give me 40 minutes to get home. Are you okay? I touched my still-burning cheek. Execute the contingency, Lawrence. Already mobilizing the legal team. Rebecca, yes. Now I meant, are you hurt? Nothing that won't heal, I said, entering the elevator. But Lawrence, make sure you bring the shareholder agreement, the one Father never actually read. With pleasure. I ended the call as the elevator doors closed, leaving my family's chaos behind. 40 minutes later I was in my penthouse, ice pack against my cheek, when my phone buzzed with a text from Lawrence. Entering the building now. I changed into comfortable clothes. Armor wasn't needed anymore. The battle was already won. They just didn't know it yet. My phone lit up with notifications. Daniel's brother's live stream had been shared over 600 times. The slap was already circulating online. But I didn't care about internet fame. I cared about what was happening in that venue right now. Lawrence texted again. Walking in. Thomas just saw me. I could picture it perfectly. Lawrence Chan in his expensive tailored suit walking into that venue with his signature confidence. 2 attorneys flanking him, briefcases in hand. The same Lawrence Chan whose name appeared in Financial Weekly. The same one my father had been desperately trying to schedule a meeting with for 8 months. Another text. His face just went white. Now your mother is screaming. I walked to my panoramic windows, looking out at the city lights. Somewhere down there in that grand venue, my family was learning a lesson about consequences. My phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Rebecca. It was Daniel's brother, whispering. You need to see this. Your father looks like he's about to pass out. This Asian guy in a suit just said your name and something about partnership agreements. Your mother literally screamed when she saw him. Who is this guy? Someone who believes in protecting his investments, I said. Your father keeps saying Mr. Chen over and over. Is this the Chen? The one who owns? I have to go, I said, ending the call. The city sparkled below, peaceful and oblivious. But in that venue, an empire was shifting. My phone rang again. This time it was Lawrence. You're on speaker, he said. I'm here with your parents and their guests. I could hear the venue's stunned silence in the background. Thomas. Lawrence's voice carried that executive authority that made board members squirm. I need to clarify something for everyone present. Rebecca Turner is not just some employee at my company. She's our executive director of international development, managing our entire European expansion. I heard collective gasps through the phone. That's impossible, my father's voice, weak and confused. The Brussels deal that netted us 38 million. Rebecca led that. The Frankfurt office that's now our most profitable branch. Rebecca built that from the ground up. The partnership with Siemens that your company desperately wanted a piece of. Rebecca negotiated every detail. You're lying, Mother's voice, shrill and desperate. Mrs. Turner, your daughter is one of the most valuable executives in this city. The penthouse you tried to take, it was part of her executive compensation package. A package that, I should mention, includes certain protections. What protections? Father asked. The ones that activate when someone attempts to coerce her into surrendering corporate assets. Which, according to the live stream that's now been viewed 25,000 times, is exactly what happened here tonight. 25,000 in less than 2 hours. Furthermore, Lawrence continued, As someone who owns 35% of your company, Thomas, I'm deeply concerned about the judgment you've displayed tonight. Publicly attempting to steal from your own daughter, allowing your wife to assault her. This raises serious questions about your leadership. You can't. This is family business, Father sputtered. The moment you made it public, you made it my business. Rebecca, are you still there? I'm here, I said clearly. Would you like to press charges for assault? The venue held its breath. Let me explain something, Lawrence's voice continued through the speaker. That live stream shows clear assault and attempted coercion. This triggers Clause 17.2 of our shareholder agreement, Thomas. The one about conduct unbecoming of leadership. What are you talking about? Father's voice cracked. Page 53 of the agreement you signed 6 years ago. I can call an emergency board meeting within 24 hours. Given that I control 35% and the Morrison Trust controls another 18%. They're very interested in the situation, by the way, you do the math. I could hear papers rustling. Lawrence was laying out documents on the head table. This is extortion, Mother shrieked. No, Mrs. Turner. Extortion was demanding your daughter's property in front of 180 witnesses. This is consequence management. Rebecca. Father's voice came through, pleading now. Tell him to stop. This is going too far. Too far. Finally spoke. Like slapping your daughter at a wedding wasn't too far? You can't destroy our family business over this. I'm not destroying anything, I said calmly. I'm protecting my assets and my dignity. Lawrence is protecting his investment. If your behavior threatens that investment, that's on you. The video is everywhere, someone whispered in the background. It's on every platform. The local news picked it up. Here's what's going to happen, Lawrence announced. Thomas, you have 48 hours to issue a public apology to Rebecca. A real one, not some legal statement. You'll acknowledge her professional achievements and her right to her own property. Jennifer, you'll do the same, and you'll stay away from Rebecca permanently. Or what? Mother demanded. Or I exercise my options as a major shareholder. Your company needs my capital for the expansion project. Without it, you're looking at bankruptcy within 8 months. This is my daughter's wedding. Mother's voice had reached hysteria. You can't do this here. You're right, Lawrence said smoothly. This isn't the time or place, which is why I'm giving you 48 hours to make this right. Rebecca's penthouse remains hers, untouched, uncontested. Any attempt to manipulate, guilt, or coerce her will result in immediate legal action. She's our daughter, Father protested. Then treat her like one, Lawrence shot back. Not like a resource to be exploited for your favorite child. I heard Emma sob dramatically. This is supposed to be my special day. It still is, Lawrence replied. I'm leaving now. But these documents stay with you, Thomas. Read them, understand them, and remember, Rebecca isn't alone. She has the full weight of Sterling Investments behind her. Rebecca. Emma's voice came through, trembling with tears. How could you do this to me? I didn't do anything to you, Emma. I simply refused to give you my home. Everything else, the public announcement, the pressure, the slap, that was Mother and Father's choice. But the penthouse is mine. No, I'm just done being your family's sacrifice. You're so cruel. No, I'm just done being your family's sacrifice. I heard movement, chairs scraping, people murmuring. Then Lawrence's voice, closer to the phone now. Rebecca, the papers are served. Your parents know their options. The ball is in their court. Thank you, Lawrence. I'm sorry it came to this. So am I. The wedding photographer got everything, by the way. He's already sent us the high-resolution images, just in case we need them for legal purposes. Father's groan was audible through the phone. 48 hours, Thomas, Lawrence said one final time. Public apology or I call the board. Rebecca, I'll see you Tuesday. The line went dead. I stood in my penthouse, looking out at the city, finally able to breathe. My cheeks still stung, but something else had lifted. 34 years of weight I hadn't realized I'd been carrying. Within 3 hours, my phone was exploding with messages. The video had gone beyond viral. It was everywhere. Entitled parents demand daughter's luxury apartment at wedding was trending on multiple platforms. Emma called 17 times. I didn't answer. Mother texted. You've ruined everything. Your sister's wedding is destroyed. Guests are leaving. Are you satisfied now? Father's message was different. We need to talk. Please. But the most interesting messages came from unexpected sources. 4 of father's biggest clients had seen the video. Thomas, I'm concerned about what I just witnessed. We need to discuss our contract. Michael Harrison, Harrison Technologies. This is deeply troubling behavior. My wife is insisting we reconsider our partnership. David Park, Park Electronics. I don't do business with people who assault their children. Contract terminated. Sarah Martinez, Martinez Logistics. That last one was a $2.8 million annual contract. Daniel's family group chat, which I'd been added to months ago, was in chaos. His mother. We're leaving. This is disgraceful. His father. The wedding is off until we understand what kind of family we're joining. The wedding was falling apart, and I wasn't even there. Lawrence texted privately. Your father just called. He's panicking about the clients. 4 more have reached out with concerns. Then the most satisfying message of all, from someone who'd recorded everything. Your mother fainted when she realized the CEO of Sterling Investments was your boss. Like actually fainted. They had to call paramedics. I poured myself wine from the bottle I'd been saving for a special occasion. If standing up for myself wasn't special, what was? My executive assistant texted. Boss, you're trending. Also, 6 headhunters have already called asking if you're looking for new opportunities. Apparently, standing up to toxic family is very marketable right now. I actually laughed for the first time in days. By Tuesday morning, the business community had chosen sides, and it wasn't even close. The video had been shared in every major business network in the city. The narrative was clear. Successful daughter refuses to be bullied by entitled parents. CEO steps in to protect valuable executive from family exploitation. Father's company lost 7 contracts in total. The expansion he'd been planning for 3 years was dead in the water. Without Lawrence's capital and with the client exodus, he'd have to downsize significantly. Emma's honeymoon to Thailand was cancelled. Not by her, by Daniel's family. They wanted to reassess the relationship dynamics before moving forward. The wedding gifts were being returned. But the most unexpected consequence came from my own company. Lawrence called me into his office Tuesday afternoon. The board wants to promote you, he said without preamble. Senior Executive Director of Global Operations. The European success, combined with how you handled the situation, they're impressed. I got slapped at a wedding. That impressed them. You stood your ground against massive social pressure. You protected company assets. You maintained composure under extreme duress. That's exactly the kind of leadership we need. And the fact that you knew when to leverage your resources. Madison, I've seen a lot of executives crumble under family pressure. You didn't just stand firm, you won. The promotion came with a 45% raise and stock options. Enough to buy another penthouse if I wanted. Not that I needed another one. The one I had was perfect. A symbol of everything I'd achieved without my family's help or approval. I donated the raise bonus to a women's shelter that helped abuse victims leave toxic situations. Felt like the right thing to do. Father's public apology came exactly 46 hours after Lawrence's ultimatum. It was stiff, clearly written by attorneys, but it did the job. I apologized to my daughter Rebecca for my inappropriate behavior at the recent family event. I acknowledge her professional achievements and her right to her own property. This matter is now closed. Mother refused to apologize. She went on a social media rant instead, calling me ungrateful, selfish, and corrupted by corporate culture. The rant was screenshot and shared thousands of times, usually with comments like "narcissist mother spotted" and "I see where the problem started." Emma texted me 2 weeks later. "You ruined my life. Daniel's family is making us go to counseling before they'll agree to the marriage. They think my family is toxic." "They're not wrong," I replied. "I hate you." "I know." The extended family split into camps. Some sided with my parents, saying family should come first. Others reached out privately, sharing their own stories of being the scapegoat, the one who was never good enough. Cousin Nathan messaged, "I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't know they treated you like that all the time." Aunt Margaret, "Your mother is my sister, but she was wrong. I'm proud of you for standing up." But the most surprising message came from Daniel. "I didn't know about the Penthouse ambush. I would have stopped it. Emma needs to grow up, and maybe this is the wake-up call she needs. I'm sorry about your mother hitting you. That was assault, plain and simple." At least someone in that family had sense. I changed the security codes on my penthouse the next day. Building security was given a list of people who were permanently banned from the property. My parents' names were at the top. The doorman Michael, who'd known me for 4 years, pulled me aside. "Miss Turner, I saw the video. Good for you. My sister went through something similar. Family isn't always family, you know." He knew. I blocked my immediate family on all social media platforms. No dramatic announcement, no explanation. Just quiet removal of their access to my life. My work became my focus. The promotion meant managing teams across 15 countries. I threw myself into it, building something meaningful without the weight of family expectations. Lawrence became more than a boss. He became the mentor my father never was. "You know," he said over coffee one morning, "the best revenge is a life well lived without them." 4 months later, I got a text from an unknown number. It was a photo of Emma's wedding gift, the one I'd sent after everything calmed down. A certificate for 8 months of family therapy sessions. "This is insulting," the message read. "It's necessary," I replied, then blocked that number too. My penthouse became what it was always meant to be. A sanctuary, a place where no one could demand, belittle, or diminish me. The panoramic windows that looked out over the city reminded me daily that I'd built something they couldn't take away. 8 months later, the dust had settled into a new reality. I was thriving. The senior executive director position had led to a feature in Business Leaders magazine. The article mentioned nothing about the wedding incident, focusing instead on my innovative approaches to European market expansion. Father's company had stabilized but never recovered its previous standing. He'd aged considerably. Through mutual business contacts, I heard he'd started therapy. Too little, too late, but at least it was something. Mother doubled down on her victim narrative, telling anyone who'd listen about her ungrateful daughter who chose money over family. Most people had seen the video. They knew better. Emma's marriage to Daniel lasted exactly 5 months. The counseling had revealed deeper issues. Entitlement, inability to take responsibility, expecting others to provide for her. Daniel's family had been right to be concerned. The divorce was quiet but final. She texted me once. "I hope you're satisfied. You got what you wanted. I got what I earned," I replied. "There's a difference." The family I found at Sterling Investments became my real family. We celebrated wins together, supported each other through challenges, and never once did anyone demand I sacrifice my success for their comfort. Lawrence and his wife invited me to their family dinners. His sons, both in graduate school, looked up to me. "You're proof we don't have to diminish ourselves for anyone," the older one said. That was worth more than any approval my birth family could have given. So here's what I learned from that disaster of a wedding. Blood doesn't make you family. Respect does. Success isn't something you owe to people who never supported your journey. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can say to toxic family is nothing at all. My penthouse remains mine. Every morning I watch the sunrise through those panoramic windows, coffee in hand, grateful for the peace I fought to protect. It's not just property. It's proof that I chose myself when everyone expected me to choose them. If you're struggling with family who demand more than they give, who take credit for successes they didn't support, who expect you to sacrifice yourself for their comfort, know this: your boundaries matter. Your success is yours. Your peace is worth more than their approval. You don't owe anyone your hard-earned achievements just because you share DNA. You don't have to accept disrespect in the name of family harmony. And you certainly don't have to tolerate abuse, whether it's physical or emotional. The price of my freedom was high. I lost my birth family, but what I gained was worth it. Self-respect, genuine relationships, and a life built on my terms. Your story might be different, but the principle remains. You deserve to be celebrated, not tolerated. Choose people who choose you not just when they need something but always. What boundaries do you need to set today?